Hello, it's Eric from E.M.B.R, and today we are doing stage 1 of SISU Pinkki. It is the big ring, about 50 kilometers almost, with one big nasty climb out of the jungle in the middle. That's the selection point. We're going to burn all the matches trying to get past that. This is the first stage in a series that will go through the month of May. There will be ITT on Tuesday, then more Saturday. Basically, it's alternating Saturdays and Tuesdays. Hopefully I can make all of them, we'll see, but I'm going to race the ones I can. This is a longer race, and the front part of it is definitely very flat until we get to that selection point, the climb out of the jungle. So I will be time-lapsing and then just commentating where I can, putting in chapter markers, but stay tuned and let's go. The front of the race is pretty calm. You do have a couple people running out to the front and joking about getting screenshots and videos or whatever. Just, hey, this is the time to be at the front before you can't be. You'll get a chance later, Joe, I'm sure. I know he's playing, but he could likely win this at the end if he wants. After that, again, there's some surges, those sorts of things. I'm just trying to stay kind of near the front, but definitely in draft. I'm not racing. I don't know what I'm doing with this series yet. I'm trying to support SISU, a good group of folks, and looked like a fun race, so joined it. So we'll see, but I don't really have GC aspirations at the moment. So just sort of sitting in, trying to be efficient. Also, I looked at the field, and there's a lot of quality folks in this field, so I'm not trying to lead the pace. I'm just trying to watch those that can and stay attached. Nando's a for real rider, no question. But I don't know if he's going this early. Nando's someone I've bumped into in other epic races. He can definitely push pace, so just watching him. But he definitely looks to be agitating. And Nando does keep that move going, and part of me doesn't want to let him get away, and another part of me doesn't want to be the one chasing to pull him back, so I gotta make up my mind though. Either be chasing or be in the draft. And that's a consistent battle for the front half of this race here, because people are pushing the front. I don't want to get on the wrong side of the split, especially in a mass cat race like this. But also, yeah, I just don't want to be overworking here. People throwing elbows. I'm not the one pulling, guys. Patience versus FOMO. That's what I got to control. And I'm not sure what'll be right. And that's why it's hard to control. And there is a fear of missing out on the move that breaks. I probably shouldn't be that concerned this early in the race. I mean, there's another 40 kilometers to go. We still have the big climb in the middle. But yeah, again, mass cat race. Just want to make sure that I'm attached. I'm not on the wrong side of a break. I do start to err more on the side of just sticking in the draft here. Sitting in this section here, going along the coast, is fairly calm. There are some pushes here. You can see another bike off the back, but now I'm being a little more thoughtful about it. I'm not with my nose in the wind in this case. I'm just sort of chilling back for the most part. I do get to the front a little bit, almost there. Yeah. Anytime I feel my nose getting towards the front, I'm sort of off the power. Another break here, though. Yeah, there's the FOMO getting me. I did mention that, yeah, it was a battle. I want to be efficient. I don't want to be on the wrong side of the break. And this is rinse, wash, repeat on here. Again, I thought I had calmed down a little bit, but apparently sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. But that's the battle that's going on through the whole middle section of this race. Other than that, though, it's pretty calm. There's some other people that got time to type, so that should tell you. And you can actually see it's down in the blue. It does calm down a little bit more as we get further along. I think people are starting maybe to think, yeah, we're not likely to get away here. And there is that big climb in the middle that we have to all be concerned about. So definitely started to edge back a little bit. And then as I say that, every time we hit a banner, though, you would see these surges that people pop power-ups, and so I'm hitting draft here just to stay attached to move. But yeah, around the banners it would pick up. Outside of that, though, it did stay fairly calm. And Mboto was the one doing most of the work at the front. He didn't really need to be, but I think he was just trying to keep the race going. Mboto's a class act. I hope one day to have the fitness. Well, I'm too old, he's too young, but enough fitness, not his fitness, but enough fitness for me that I can have the extra energy to pull and still be in the race at the end. But he doesn't have to do that though. I've seen him come back and sweep, just trying to have fun, make the race fun for others as well, which not everybody does. So, good on you, Joe. I'll try to be with you at the finish so I can catch you sprint away from me. But all come down to this hill, as Aaron Berry just noted. Which is why I am not pulling like Mboto. He can pull and still ride that hill. I pull, I'm gonna get crushed in the hill. I may get crushed in that hill without pulling. We're gonna try not to. Burn all the matches we have to, and then rest on the descent if we're still attached.
And the fact that I can have a little bit of a monologue and other people are typing tells you it did calm down a little bit in the middle here, but don't worry, it'll pick up.
Like I said, Mboto I recognize, Nando I recognize. I guarantee you there's some folks from SISU. I think I didn't catch up who all joined, but there's plenty of people. When I looked at Z Racing Bello, I'm probably 15th down the field, 20th something. I am not the class of the field here. Let me put it that way. Maybe the ass of the field. Gotta fill a role. Gotta fill a role.
But for the most part in this section, yeah, I'm just happy for the respite and starting to think about how we use power ups as we get towards the end.
If I get an arrow, I have to clutch it. If I get a feather, of course we use it.
And if we're honest, I'm more concerned about that middle climb than anything else, so I'm kind of hoping for a feather here.
Like I feather for the climb, or gamble it for a possible arrow for the sprint. I think we keep the feather and trusting my legs on the sprint. I have to get to the sprint in order for the sprint to matter.
It is hard to argue with that logic, and yeah, the climb is really what I'm most concerned about. I will say this, I didn't get a chance to preview the route. I mean, I kind of know the big ring, but normally what I would do when I'm racing, as part of my process, is to pre-race the route at least, you know, in a day or so before, just so I can understand the key selection points, how the finish sets up, all those sorts of things. I didn't find out about the SISU series here until the last moment, so I didn't get a chance to do those things. That'll matter.
I feel like I don't know this climb that well, but I feel like I want to draft the front, save the feather and bang for the crest. But we'll see.
Yeah, the last time I actually rode the big ring was following a pace spot, so I'm just kind of remembering that I got pulled out of zone 2 on that damn climb. And it's a little shallow at the front. You get a little respite in the middle, and then it's steep again at the end. But yeah, actually doing it at race pace, I'm guessing how the danger is going to go and how it's going to play out. As that climb starts, so I am going to slow the pace down a little bit of the video here. I'm going to put it at 200%, and we'll vary it at different parts of the climb. Beginning part, I am standing and grinding, just trying to. It's draftable here. It's kind of shallow. Speeds are still north of 30 kilometers. Yeah, it's saving the feather as planned.
Why?
But right here, someone gets coned.
Didn't catch who it was, but
I don't understand why. Sometimes I think people just see someone at the front pushing and they decide that's hard, we must cone that person. Maybe there was another reason. I'm blind to it. But yeah, a little bit annoying, and sadly it won't be the last one. I'll foreshadow that a little bit, but rest of this here, again, this shallow part, I am just sticking in wheels. Now you can see we're even almost 40 kilometers per hour in this section here. All I want to do is stay attached, put the effort in that the field's requiring of me, no more, and save that feather for when it really, really matters. And again, if you look at the elevation in the map, we're going to go up here for a little bit, but it's 3-4%. You can see where that blue part on the HUD climb as well, it will even out a little bit. So just a lot of standing and grinding here for me, trying to stay somewhat efficient. split the load, sit back down on occasion as well when I can. But yeah, just trying to keep heart rate in check. This pace is hot for me. As you can tell, it is a lot of orange and red. We are definitely above FTP here for quite a while. This is about a 9 to 10 minute effort, inclusive of the the dip, sort of the little respite in the middle. But this is a very tough effort above FTP for sure for me. Probably 120% or so, somewhere in there. And at different sections, even more than that, depending on how hard the field's pushing. I'm just trying to chill in here for the most part. I sort of split it into goals in my head at this point. Make it to this first section here where it evens out, and we can actually just get the pressure off the legs a little bit. And I'll speed this up to 400% just because, yeah, this is sort of just a descent. We get to calm down, and it's like, okay, just try to equalize. That was a hard push, but you're still attached. My heart rate had gone north of 180 on the front half, so trying to get it down below 180 at this point, and it is just barely a little bit below that. But we're in the business end now, so I'm slowing the climb down to 100% because this is where it really comes. Push comes to shove in this section. And again, still trying to fire from the back here. A lot of people are driving at the front. You got actually Mboto at the front doing some work and pushing, which is great to see. But
Who called Mboto? Come on! Jesus!
that was truly disappointing. I said it in the front half of the race. Mboto's a class act. I'm hoping I'm not bad luck. I had scorekeeper get coned in one of the races I did as well. Another guy that I respect a lot, and I don't know why. Someone had to tell me, but I just got no idea why Mboto was coned there. Every time I see him, he's great, and yeah, that's a damn shame. I'll move past that for a second. I'll come back to it later, but this part I'm gonna let play out. The audio in the background for sure. I'm gonna probably commentate a little less. You can see me popping a feather. All I'm gonna tell you is watch my face, listen to my breathing. Matches are being burned 100%, and I'm just gonna let the audio play out and the climb play out here because this is just me trying to stay attached. And I'll lower the volume back down here. This section I'll leave it somewhat in the background. This section is mostly me just whimpering and questioning life decisions, and yeah, that hurt like hell. Staying attached. I am underneath all the whimpering. Pretty proud though. I was able to stay attached and thinking, all right, it's a descent now. You're not in bad shape here in theory. Definitely burned the matches though, and the only good part about this route is that you do catch a descent here where I can in theory recover, but man, that was ugly for sure. I'm speeding up the descent a little bit, where some people are starting to be concerned about overall time, I guess, for GC.
All together to drag the old guy back to a normal heart rate. How about that? Oh.
I am less concerned about GC and more concerned about recovering.
Let's not. Not yet. Well, you want to push power down the hill? I'll gladly coast.
Yeah, I'll speed up the descent here, but it is all about recovery for me right now.
This is where I try to reclaim my sprint by the end and hope no surges drop me before the end. Because I burnt just about every match in the book. I'm trying to find a new book right now.
And this is where I hope the durability I've been working on will come into play. I'll be able to recover and actually push towards the end. We'll see.
No arrow, but everybody else would have had to gamble on that last power up as well. So
I don't even realize here that we will get one more power up at the downtown banner.
I can't say I remember how this sprint finishes either, other than it's flat, clearly from the map.
Again, I didn't get a chance to study the course. That's a problem.
Another hill here that's a danger though. Really annoyed about Mboto getting coned.
And I probably shouldn't dwell on that, but again, every time I see Mboto, he's having fun, he's engaged, he's trying to make sure other folks are having fun as well. Damn quality racer in terms of just his capabilities, but doesn't seem to have any ego about it. Just seems like a good all-around guy. So figure take a second to talk about that. This section of the race is kind of just us mostly recovering anyways, and I feel like that needed to be said because, you know, if we want good Zwift culture, we gotta support good Zwift culture, not shame it or cone it. I just don't get it. But I'll get off that soapbox. It's bothersome to me though, and I just felt it needed to be said. But as far as the race goes, at this point, I'm looking at the mini map and trying to spot any places where people might surge before the final.
You have to be ready to respond to a long push starting at this hill.
And with all the work done right now, I'm like, I shouldn't get dropped on these sections. There are a couple little pops here, which I've ridden this section, of course, all the time with a pace partner, so I know it pretty well. But yeah, figured there'd be a push. Sure enough, there is. I'm just grabbing that wheel, wanting to stay at the front. If there's any long hit, you know, if someone pushes 5-6 watts of kg and just tries to split, I can be in the wheel at a less than that, but at the front, not on the wrong side of a brake. So definitely hovering the front here, even though we're down to less than 20 riders. If it splits with 4 or 5, I want to be on the right side of that 4 or 5. So heading into downtown, and again here I didn't realize that we were going to catch the downtown banner and another power up. I'm starting to slow this down a little bit because someone brakes right before the banner, and again, worried about that brake. I'm just following. He hits pretty hard here, so I'm having to do multiple little pops, which is why I slowed it down to 200%. Kind of a inflection point in the race here, the fact that he goes. And when I catch that power up at the banner, which was unexpected, I snap hit it to be more efficient in his wheel.
That was dumb. That was dumb. Idiot.
And sure, I could be kinder to myself, but that was a bonehead move right there. That's a race lost move right there.
That was for the sprint. This isn't going anywhere.
And this, friends, is why we study the course, and we pre-ride most all the time. If I'd known that there was another power-up coming, I'd have had thoughts about what I was going to do depending on what one I got. It wouldn't have been a snap decision. Hey, I'm following this wheel on a semi-fast brake. Let me be more efficient. It just wouldn't have happened. But, you know, you live, you learn. Right now, though, at this point, I'm just following wheels. It is, you know, you did what you did. You just got to make the best of it, and trying to make sure that we're set up when it comes to the sprint at the end. And speaking of not pre-riding the course, this finish is one I'm not super familiar with either. I know it's long, it's flat, and I expect the people are going to punch like they are here. I just want to be near the front here, in a wheel, not at the front, but in a wheel, so pick up speed because it's going to get fast. We're already over 50 kilometers per hour. We're just getting started. But yeah, I just want to be in wheels. Don't necessarily need to be right on his. I'm actually kind of hoping people will roll over me, trying to get a little bit of energy here. Again, knowing I have no power up, I don't know what they have. Should have known also that just feathers and drafts were all that was available. So, you know, 50% chance. People got drafts that are smarter than I were. They're going to have it, or they're going to have feather. Either way, they're going to have a long power up for this. Most of the field will have a long power up for the sprint, and I got nothing. So that's not a good scene. But at this point, I'm setting up for what I expect to be a multiple pop sprint, where we're going to have to, you know, someone's going to go. I'm going to have to hit it hard to get to their wheel and then sit. Maybe again and again. I don't expect it to be all one burst, but mostly just getting into a wheel, picking up speed, sitting, and then having, you know, a big anaerobic pop at the end. Large bunch here, so I'm sitting at the back waiting for those first moves to go, standing and going. a little bit here because I'm trying to pick up some speed again, be in that wheel. Getting here, we're 500 meters. You know, we know it's about to get going here now. I'm waiting to see all the power-ups go off that I don't have. There goes one. I mean, again, I know I'm going to hit my initial pop, sit in his wheel. At this point, if I had draft, I would have hit draft, and it would be so much easier right now. I would be not having to work so hard. Also, I have no idea where the damn finish is. I could look, I guess, and see that counting down, but I can't see the banner. So this is just pure bungle. Didn't know when to hit it. They ride away with me from power-ups. Good game.
I didn't see the banner. What an idiot. Told I didn't know that finish. I probably still would have got out sprinted, but helped to know where the banner's at. I misguessed. Hit the front too soon. Tried to sit up and then couldn't reapply force. All excuses. Good race. Super proud. I made it past the selection point.
And I said I was off this soapbox, but yeah, I had to at least ask the question. Nobody answered, but would have been nice if Mboto was able to finish that race. He did work in the middle of it. He earned it. Definitely would have been in the mix of the results at the finish. Speaking of those results, that power-up mishap and not knowing where the banner was, guy with a great sprint had a shot at a podium, ends up out of the top 10. Still a good race, though.
Man, disappointing sprint. Again, wasted the draft. That would have helped immeasurably. That was mistake number one. Mistake number two, not pre-racing and understanding where the finish was. Those two mistakes, when I have that thin of a margin of error against this class of field, is the difference between podium and I think out of the top 10. But again, good workout impulse, good lessons. Turn the loss into a lesson, as always. I now know where big ring finishes for future reference. And I know I can dig deep, want to push and stay attached when it matters. When I'm fed and it's later in the morning. I knew I had to double or triple sprint that just to stay attached and then push big at the end. I just didn't know where the end was. In the thick of it, I needed to have the draft, and I needed to know where the finish was. I'm on repeat, but repetition bears recognition.
As far as the metrics go, there's a section in the middle here that 9 minutes and 30 seconds or so on the climb that are pretty good, close to a PB. Definitely a good effort right there. That's a duration that I've been training quite a bit lately. You can see that on intervals as well. That almost drove my W-BAL down to 0. Good recovery. I'd recovered enough energy for that sprint. I just needed to know what the hell I was doing during it, and it'd have been fine. But on a bright note, I am proud of that 9 to 10 minute effort staying attached. So I even had a shot to mess up the sprint. That's something to be said. That's something I've been working on very hard. Durability, repeatability, and power sustain on those long climbs, what everybody's trying to put the hammer down. And on that note, the next video you'll see will be me on Climb Portal right after this race on fatigued legs, working on exactly that. Another hard hit, about 10 minutes long, and again above FTP, race fatigued legs. Let's see where we get to. That'll be next. See you guys.